Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon upgrade. Today, we're going to be discussing two not fully evolved Pokemon, Bayleef and Roselia, and how they can be used in a similar way this generation with the boost of the Evolution Stone. So let's get started. So first off, we have Bayleef, who as far as not fully evolved grass-type Pokemon goes, is one of the bulkiest in both the physical and special defense area. And as you can see, it has 80 physical defense and 80 special defense, which translates with the Evolution Stone to having almost 300 defense in both of the defenses without any EV investment, which is really great. Also, in the Gym World, it does get the ability Leaf Guard, which could prove to be a nice bonus to a defensive set with the Evolution Stone, due to the fact that it's very easy to set up Sun in this generation because of Drought, Ninetales, and things like that, because obviously Groudon is in Ubers, so you don't play with it usually. But Leaf Guard's an excellent ability for this Pokemon because it prevents statuses from being inflicted upon it, and it also, if you're curious, it doesn't allow you to rest in Sun anymore because rest or sleep is a status even though you are self-inducing it. So that's something you should just keep aware of. It also never healed rest to begin with in Sun. It does not work like hydration like a lot of people think, so I feel like I would just need to clarify that right now. But as you can see, it also has a pretty decent HP stat with 60 HP, and combined with its defenses and the boost from the Evolution Stone, you can actually run a pretty defensive set on Bayleef. And since Bayleef probably is my favorite form of the Chikorita evolution chain for whatever reason, I just think it looks the coolest, I wanted to make this video just to show you that too. So let's take a look at the set we'll use for Bayleef, and also one that will be incredibly similar for Roselia when we'll get to that. So first off, we're going to be giving Bayleef a modest nature to increase its special attack but lower its physical attack. And then we're going to be using the ability Leaf Guard, since in this set, Overgrow has no purpose since we aren't actually using a grass-type move. As for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into HP to give you your max HP, 128 into physical defense, and 128 into special defense also to give you some really good mixed bulk, which translates with the item Evolution Stone to, I think, just around 340 for both of the defenses, which is really great and something that Bayleef can benefit from a lot because of how this item boosts your physical and special defense by 1.5 when it's on a not fully evolved Pokemon. But as for the moves, it's pretty simple for a moveset, yet still very effective in what it does. So first we're going to give it Leech Seed to allow it to obviously put Leech Seed on your opponent, thus taking their HP and recovering your own. Since with not fully evolved Pokemon, recovery is a very important thing since you are sacrificing the use of leftovers for greater defense. So Leech Seed can pretty much cover that because of the fact that it obviously takes HP from your opponent every turn, and that's really great for Bayleef's recovery. Up next we have Toxic, which again is going to be used to further the residual damage on your opponent in combination with Leech Seed. And obviously it increases in damage at the end of every turn. Up next, we have something that might seem really weird to you, but it makes perfect sense with the rest of the moves that we're using for the set, and that is using Hidden Power Fire. Now, the reason why we're going to be using this, first of all, it's pretty unexpected, I feel like, on a Bayleef to begin with, but also because of the fact that Leech Seed and Toxic both have one weakness, and that is Leech Seed does not work on grass types, and Toxic cannot hit steel types. So Hidden Power Fire is great because it hits both of those types for super effective damage, so while you may not be able to get both of these moves up, Leech Seed and Toxic, on your opponent, you can get one of them up and then proceed to hit your opponent with Hidden Power Fire for super effective damage if they are one of those two types. Obviously, Heatran is a big pain in the butt to a set like this, which is unfortunate, but Heatran is a good counter to a lot of stalling sets, which is great for that Pokemon too. But that's besides the point. But yeah, this set pretty much can work fairly well on any Pokemon that can be seeded or toxic because of the fact that it'll just take damage every turn. And now I know you're thinking of, well, what about Notori? Well, that's what you have Hidden Power Fire for, because that'll be 4 times effective on Notori, which I think translates to either a 3 or 4 hit KO, possibly. I'm not really sure about the damage calculation on that. So it does still take a while, but I'm pretty sure with your defenses you can actually take a couple of gyro balls, if that's what they're using as their main attack move in that sense, and still be able to take it out, which is great. Also, something you might want to consider when thinking about Notori is because of the fact that gyro ball increases in power, the slower the user of gyro ball is compared to the opponent. You might even consider lowering the speed of Bayleef by using a minus speed nature and also getting rid of IVs into the speed stat as well. So that could be something else to help you counter Notori as well. But for the last move, we're either going to be using Protect or Synthesis. Protect is obviously there to stall out turns and keep you safe from damage, while also, getting leech seed recovery or your opponent taking toxic damage, etc. Whereas Synthesis is a more reliable recovery move, but does change based on the weather. However, if you are using a Sun team, not only will you get the bonus of having Leaf Guard as your ability and being active, but Synthesis will also recover more HP. So this is a pretty cool set to use, especially on a Sun team, and could really make use of Bayleef's defenses in a awesome way this generation. Now, as for Roselia, you can actually use it pretty much in a very similar way to what I just showed you of the Bayleef set, but there's a couple of differences that you need to keep in mind. First of all, Roselia does have the added poison typing, which could be seen as an advantage or a disadvantage depending on how you look at it. Poison obviously gives you some more resists and also it makes it so that you are immune to toxic and things like that, which is fantastic on any sort of walling Pokemon, which is what Roselia is kind of going to be. But also, you do take the psychic type moves super effectively now, and you also take ground type moves for neutral as opposed to resisting them. So it's kind of like a weird trade-off with the typing because you do also get resistances as well, but it's just something to keep in mind when using either one of these. As for its abilities, they also differ quite a bit, but they both got Leaf Guard as their Dream World ability, which could prove useful on a Sun team. However, Roselia also has the added bonus of having Natural Cure as one of its regular abilities, which is a lot more easily accessible and will allow you to recover or get rid of your status every time you switch out, which is great. And as for the stats, though, you can see that Roselia actually isn't as bulky as Bayleef is in terms of both defenses and HP. However, it does have significantly higher special attack, which could come in handy and will allow you to take things out easier than you can with Bayleef. So I guess that's also a trade-off as well. However, suffering from lower HP and lower physical defense does come at a price, unfortunately, by using Roselia over Bayleef. So Roselia is a more powerful Pokemon to use this set, whereas Bayleef is a more defensive Pokemon to use this set. But with that, let's just take a look at it again. So as you can see right off the bat, the moveset is pretty much exactly the same, except Roselia has the added bonus of setting up Toxic Spikes as opposed to using Toxic. Now, either one works, but the thing about using Toxic Spikes is that everything that isn't flying or a steel or poison type will get poisoned. And in a lot of situations, something that gets poisoned is something you might want to get with another status. So that can prove to be a pain in the butt. So you might be better off just using Toxic to select what you hit with that move, as opposed to just using Toxic Spikes. But if you are using Toxic Spikes, you are actually one of the most defensive users of Toxic Spikes in the game because of the Evolution Stone. Now, the EV spread between these two Pokemon is actually significantly different, and I will explain that right now. Basically, you give Roselia a bold nature to increase its physical defense but lower its physical attack. And then, as I said before, either ability, Natural Cure or Leaf Guard works depending on if you're using a weather team or not. And as for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into HP, 232 into defense, and 24 into special defense. Now with this, it will give you defense of 202 in both the physical and special defense, and max HP, which I think is 304. So with the Evolution Stone, your overall defenses will be 304 HP, 303 defense, and 303 special defense. So that's really great. And even though it's not as bulky as Blissey, or sorry, not Blissey, what the hell am I thinking? Bayleef, they both start with a B, excuse me. It will still prove to be effective at taking hits. But on the bonus side is that you do have significantly high special attack than Bayleef, so using Hidden Power Fire will actually deal a lot more damage than you could with Bayleef. So these two are pretty much interchangeable in the roles that I provided with the set. Same thing, obviously, Leech Seed Toxic, Hidden Power Fire, Protect Synthesis, depending on what you want. But they both work really well at doing their role and can be very useful on a team if you need some sort of defensive grass type and don't want to use anything that is normally standard, like change something up. Instead of using like a Shaman, maybe use Roselia or something like that because of the added bonus of toxic spikes and things like that. But as you can see, these two are pretty much unusual NFEs, because I know you guys know about like Dusclops and Porygon 2, which are very, very defensive, not fully evolved Pokemon, which I don't really feel the need to make a video on since you all know about it already. So I wanted to branch out and show you something a little bit different, but still effective. So Roselia and Bayleef were the things that I chose. But that is it for this video, guys, so take care and goodbye.